Good morning, students. Welcome to your English literature class. And today we are going to start a new chapter which is called Dusk. Okay. So, as you all know, that dusk is an hour of the day. It's an hour of the day means it is the interim period between daylight and the evening. So, it is the time of sunset. It is called actually after sunset when the rays of the sun they subside and evening sets in. So it is the interim time which we also called twilight. Okay, so that is what dusk or twilight is. And this story actually tells us about that haziness which pervades everywhere, and it actually causes the difference between appearance and reality, because whenever there is haziness we don't tend to understand what is the actual reality, because the vision in front of our eyes becomes quite hazy because of lack of light. Okay, as night sets in and the daylight it subsides. So this is what the uh, main theme of the story is, that is the main difference between appearance and reality. Okay, so first, before starting off the chapter, I would like to just give you an introduction on the chapter. Like, the author name is Saki. The actual name of the author is Hector Hugh Munro, and Saki is the pen name. Pen name means, I hope all of you understand, that it is a secret name which is being utilized by the writer so as to curb the identity of the writer. Okay, so he was born in Burma. Now it is Myanmar. At the age of 2, he was sent to live with his aunts in England. Early in his career, he became a police officer, could not continue because of poor health. Then he turned to journalism and started off writing, okay, for a Westminster Gazette, which was a magazine, and then the Daily Express, Morning Post. So these were all newspapers, and he started writing stories and articles for these newspapers. Okay, so his writings are basically based on somber description. Somber means it is very uh, general. Okay, it is not very ordinary. It is not too much extravagant, and it is full of wit and political satire. That means some political issues are being tackled in his writings, which produce a satirical note. So here you can also find his popular works like Toys of Peace, Interloper, Storyteller, and The Open Window. So this is what is about the author, and let us now start off with the story. So as I told you that this is an hour of dusk. This is an hour of twilight when the story is where the story is set in. So Norman Godsby sat on a bench in the park with his back to a strip of bush planted sward fenced by the park railings and the row fronting him across a wide stretch of carriage drive. Hyde Park Corner, with its rattle and hoot of traffic, lay immediately to his right. Okay, it was some 30 minutes past 6 on an early March evening, and dusk had fallen heavily over the scene. Dusk mitigated by some faint moonlight and many street lamps. So here we find the setting hour of the story, which is already mentioned, that dusk had fallen, and the place where Norman Godsby was sitting. He was sitting on alone on a park bench, which has already been pervaded by the evening darkness. And then there is the description of Hyde Park Corner, which was a very busy street, which lay to his right. Okay, there it was the rattle and hoot of traffic, means it was, which shows that it was quite a busy street. And the place where Norman Godsby was sitting, it was very quiet. It was the time of evening, when people used to return back from a park. So he is sitting in the park where there is silence pervading and darkness also pervades. There are no street lamps over there. But in contrast to the silence and the darkness of the park, there lies the Hyde Park Corner, a very busy street which is filled with the street lamps and the sound of traffic. Okay, there was a wide emptiness over the road and sidewalk. So another imagery we find over here, the emptiness which pervades in the park at night. That means already mentioned with this word emptiness over the road and sidewalk, and yet there were many unconsidered figures moving silently through the half light. So many figures unconsidered, that means people who are unknown, people who are not known to anyone. So like this, many figures were moving around in that half light. The scene pleased Godsby and harmonized with his present mood. Okay, so he wanted to have a peace of mind, so that is why he sat there silently in the park. Dusk to his mind was the hour of the defeated. As you can see, this line is underlined, so you also please underline this line. So this is a very important line which actually presents the theme of the story. According to him, so dusk is the hour of the defeated. Why? Men and women who had fought and lost, who hid their fallen fortunes and dead hopes as far as possible from the scrutiny of the curious, came forth in this hour of gloaming, when their shabby clothes and bowed shoulders and unhappy eyes might pass unnoticed, or at any rate unrecognized. So here we find that Godsby says that this was quite appealing to him because he wanted silence, he wanted peace of mind. But according to him, it was the hour of the defeated. So, although this hour gave him pleasure to sit there silently, it was to him the hour of the defeated, like the people who had struggled hard through life without any success, who were victims of their fallen fortunes, right? Who had struggled hard but had fallen victims to their luck or to their fate. Okay, they wanted to keep themselves secret, they wanted to hide from the uh, voluminous world, who wanted always were curious to know about their life. So these kind of people, they always want to hide from the scrutiny of the curious eyes, that means scrutiny of the curious people. Okay, and this is the time they come out, this is the time when they want their souls to come out, they want their tears to get unnoticed, they want their struggles to be unnoticed, yet they are still struggling with their lives. So that is why dusk is considered to be the hour of the defeated. Beyond the sheltering screen of bushes and palings came a realm of brilliant lights and noisy rushing traffic. So again here we find the contrast of to the active world. A blazing many tired stretch of windows shone through the dusk and almost dispersed it, marking the haunts of those other people who held their own in life's struggle, or at any rate had not had to admit failure. So, here we have a contrast of those people who have just started their life and they are quite active. They don't know what fate is there for them, but still they are active. So this refers to the younger generation, people who have just began their life and they are working hard, they are quite active, and all the lights and all the luminous street lamps and the evening celebrations and all these are all signifying the activeness of youth. So Godsby's imagination pictured things as he sat on his bench in the almost deserted walk. He was in a mood to count himself among the defeated. So he wanted to consider himself among the defeated. Money troubles did not press on him. Had he so wished, he could have strolled into the thoroughfares of lightened noise and taken his place among the jostling ranks of those who enjoyed prosperity or struggled for it. He had failed in a more subtle ambition, and for the moment he was heartsore and disillusioned. So, money problem was not his problem, but his problem was that he wanted to have a properly an ambition for himself, but which he did not get. So, at this point of time, he considered himself among the defeated, and that is why he was disillusioned. On the bench by his side sat an elderly gentleman with a drooping air of defiance that was probably the remaining vestige of self respect in an individual who had ceased to defy successfully anybody or anything. So, by his side sat an elderly gentleman who was significant of the old age, who has struggled hard through life, and now his drooping body uh, uh, shows that he had almost lost all faith on life and success. His clothes could scarcely be called shabby, at least they passed muster in the half light. So he was not at all so poor as to be called a beggar, but it shows the struggle in his life. He belonged unmistakably to that forlorn orchestra to whose piping no one dances. So he is compared to an orchestra, which means a group of musicians who go on playing their music because of their passion for music, but the people who pass them, they no longer find an interest in their passion. Okay. As he rose to go, Godsby imagined him returning to a home circle where he was snubbed and of no account. So it was Godsby's imagination which we are talking of here, and he considered the old man to return to such a home where he was of no use or value. Okay, so I'll just keep it till here, and I would expect all my students to go through the text till here in order to have a better understanding of this portion. So we will have a detailed description, detailed discussion of this portion in the live class. Okay, till then please go through the chapter. Thank you for listening to me. Have a nice day.